When Kevin came to me and said, I think there's an opportunity to build something here, I said, could you please pick a less sexy business idea? Like wills, really? There's all these things that we could solve in the world and you want to solve wills?
Erin, let's talk about wills. All right. As a marketer, you probably are gotten used to working on some great creative, catchy slogans, products that are exciting and everybody loves to use. In the financial industry, a lot of times the perception is that the products aren't as sexy, right? They're a little bit drier to talk about, not as exciting. Can you talk about the journey of your journey and Kevin's journey as well, and how Willful came to life, and why is that the idea that you decided to pursue?
I think most entrepreneurs start a company to solve a problem that they experienced in their own life, to scratch an itch. And that was certainly the case with Willful. A few years ago, Kevin's uncle passed away quite suddenly, and he had a will, but had never discussed the things outside of it, like funeral and burial wishes. And so at a time when his family should have been grieving, they were really running around scrambling, trying to find out, had he talked to coworkers about these things? Where had he stored important documents? And it was one of those moments where Kevin thought, wow, this is a really broken process. I wonder what exists out there to simplify estate planning. And so when he looked into it, found that actually estate planning was a pretty antiquated space where there were very few tools. It was driven by appointments in lawyers' offices, lots of paper, physical signatures, expensive processes, and that the majority of people just haven't spent much time not only thinking about their end of life plans, but documenting them to make it easier on the family like us that was left behind. So that was the impetus. And when Kevin came to me and said, I think there's an opportunity to build something here, I said, could you please pick a less sexy business idea? Like wills, really? There's all these things that we could solve in the world and you want to solve wills? And I didn't just say that because of the subject matter. I also said it because of Kevin's background. His background is in trades. He is not an engineer. He is not someone who can code. And so I kind of said to him, like, listen, as a non-technical founder, this is going to be more of an uphill battle for you, knowing that this is not your natural skill set. But he was really passionate about it because he saw it firsthand, that what happens when you don't have a plan in place. And it just kind of became his mission to help destigmatize conversations around death. And at first, I was very passionate about helping him. I've always loved that he's one of those born entrepreneurs. He has an idea every 5 seconds. And so I knew at some point he would start his own business, and wholeheartedly supported him when he went on the path down Willful. Was I passionate about estate planning? That's a big no, because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about the process. And as Canadians, we don't learn much about estate planning. They don't teach it in school. Unless you have parents that are very open about it, you probably haven't spent more than 5 minutes thinking about it. In fact, you've probably avoided thinking about it because people tend to avoid thinking about their own death. So it was really only after watching him for that first year where, as you said, he hustled and did whatever he could to get people on board with his idea, and found lawyers to work with and found developers to build it out. And it was really impressive watching him, just kind of find a way to make it happen, even though there were all of these things stacked against him, that I started to fall in love with the problem and really see how with every will he sold, he was saving a Canadian family from the conversations and unanswered questions that had existed for us. So that's really what made me fall in love with the problem. And now I've become the will girl. Every time there's an article about wills, my friends, family, social media contacts are sending it to me. So yes, this is not where I thought I would be, 15 years into my career, but I couldn't be happier.